So it's the summer. It's the summer, and with the summer comes a lot of festivals and parties and gatherings. And if it's your particular flavor, Ren fairs and Renaissance fairs. I've been to a Ren fair twice in my life. The first time I was in middle school. Yeah, middle school, and I dressed like a member of Fall Out Boy the whole time because I thought I was so cool until I saw some kids walking back with wooden swords that they bought, and I thought that was really cool. And then the second time I went, I was walking around the shops and I saw a swordsmith. So I ran over and I was looking around. It was all pretty nice. I start talking to the owner of the shop, the guy who makes the swords himself. And he asks me, he says, hey, not only do I make swords, I also make my own alcohol. And I was drinking at that time, and so I said, hey, say no more. That's pretty cool. And he looks at me, he's like, do you want to try some of my whiskey? And I was like, you say no more? Say no more. I was young. Don't be mad at me. I was young. So he takes me to the back. Oh, God. So he takes me to this back room, and he pulls out he's like, it's like a chemist's lab or an alchemist's laboratory with a bunch of tubes and barrels and stuff, and he pulls out this whiskey, and he's like, oh, it's so good. And I was like, oh, yeah. And I get soused, properly soused, drunk, lit, having a good old time. And so I get back to the shop after all this, and we're talking still. He's like, hey, you want to buy a sword? And I was drunk, and I said, yeah, sure. Hey, no problem, buddy. And I fling in my card, swipes it for $2,000 for a sword. And the next day I come to sort of check my bank statement, and I'm like, what the I was swindled. I was swindled out of this money by this man who made this promise to me of community and swords and the Ren Fair itself. But I was conned. And so that's what I want to talk about today. The difference between community and being conned. Hey everyone, it's Mitch. That's me. Welcome back to my channel. I use this channel to talk to myself with you in hopes that I can better understand myself and this journey in my life. And if you learn a little bit about yourself in the process too, that's pretty cool. Wow, it's been a minute since I've posted some videos. Yes, I just uploaded one that I was sitting on my computer for a bit that I did nothing with. I do have legitimate reasons. I was out of town working a lot on some projects and stuff, and so I was away from this setup. Is it a real excuse? No, because I have my magic little rectangle of goodness, right? That internet box that could make videos as well, so there is no excuse. But I want to talk about the community versus being conned because especially in this e-commerce, digital marketing, Bitcoin bonanza landscape, I feel like everyone on this platform, or platform being the internet, not just YouTube or any of the other socials, but the internet, everyone has a program. Everyone is trying to sell me something. And while I think the internet is a reflection of our reality and exposes a lot of things internally that, because of the anonymity of it, we're able to be free. And I think that comes with people wanting to try to take advantage of people to make a quick buck. And I get it. I get wanting to make money easily and with as little work as possible. And I also get wanting a community. And not every community is a scam. And not every community that requires some type of financial buy-in is a scam either. I think there are plenty of legitimate communities and resources and places in the world that, while they require some type of money to buy into, that doesn't make them bad. Yeah, just like a scam or a con. But how do we discern the difference between something that could create community for us and something that is a scam for us individually? Now, small subsect, yes. Something can be a scam for one person and may not be a scam for another. It's all based on that personal investment, If you're really wanting to invest in drop shipping or some of these other e-commerce businesses that every program you find requires some type of buy-in to get the booklet to then learn how to do the thing. If that's something you want to do, I'm not going to tell you to not do that. And inside of that, you may certainly find the community that you're looking for. Those never worked for me because ever since my swindle, I am a little hesitant of anything that requires some type of buy-in or withholding of information behind some type of paywall. There are other scenarios that I have invested in myself and have spent money on programs and things, but they have had a YouTube channel that was easy to follow and gave a lot of free information and sort of put their money where their mouth is, and also did the work of providing free resources. So it all comes down to personal preference and choice. That's the TLDR of this video. But how do we know the difference between community and a scam or being conned? First one, of course, is that financial burden or the financial buy-in. If you have to buy in for the thing, that is an automatic yellow flag for me. If it's a one-time and you get lifetime access, that's okay. I think that does become something like, okay, yeah, depending on the amount, if it's something I can budget or something I can afford, weighed up against the value of the program, then I'm like, okay, yeah, that should be fine. Anything that's like a monthly subscription, that's where I get on it. Only because I know myself, man, I have the energy to start that. As I've said in many of my videos, I have the energy to start something, but to sustain that and maintain it is difficult. So if you are someone like me who is really good at starting something, but struggles with follow through, you may want to avoid subscription-based models of programs and teaching tools, because I don't know if I will actually give up on something or just find a new interest in something else. So this may be the one that keeps my focus forever, but realistically, for me at least, this may be different for you, but for me at least, I know that there's a lot of internal work that I need to do in order to make something sustainable. And maybe that financial incentive is the thing that will keep you going. But I try to avoid anything that is subscription based. So like a one-time fee, great. Subscription, maybe we'll do some more research. Number 2, look at the community of people. And reviews are one thing. Reviews are something specific, right? If you can look at the system and see if it has reviews, sure. But also, I ask myself the question, is this a community that I want to be a part of? And if it isn't, if it's something that I'm interested in the content, but not so much the community surrounding it, it may not be worth my time or worth yours, because we can't do this alone. And this being life, this being work, this being projects and passions, it can't be done alone sustainably. And so if you find that the thing that you want to do is in a community that you may not necessarily agree with, then it's worth it to explore and see if there are other communities that are doing this thing that you're interested in and finding them there. Instead of finding the first, I wish I imbued into my life earlier. Do not be afraid to take your time to find the right thing. Right being a good fit or a good feeling, not perfect or correct, instead of the first thing. If the first one is the best one, excellent, wonderful. And do your research to look for other communities inside of this interest and see if you could, because again, there are so many people on this planet, and there is a very high probability that you will run into people who are like-minded, and you will be able to build that sustainable community with inside of these interests, instead of just going to the first one or the biggest one. Don't be afraid to branch out. And that's something I want to tell myself too. Don't be afraid to branch out. It's okay. It is okay to take your time to find the people who will be your people. And number three is a twofer. Trust your instincts and avoid desperation. You are the ultimate expert of your experience. And so when something doesn't feel right for you, a part of you will be able to know that. Whether or not that muscle is cultivated, it may not be cultivated per se. So it may not be a jarring and clear message from your intuition. But we all have that intuition. That ventral vagus nerve, right from our brain to our gut, that centralized thing that flares up with intuition. So don't be afraid to listen to your intuition and not acting out of desperation. Desperation is a real thing. While the mindset shift is important to shift away from desperation or desperate thinking, I get that that's very real. And desperation is a thing that exists for all of us at one point or another. And so it's not something to ignore. It is energy to reframe. But if we think in desperation or think from a place of desperation, we will actively go against our intuition and not listen to it, and then ultimately pay for it, either literally or metaphorically. Another story. This was a few years ago, post-COVID. I had lost a ton of work, and so I had one job, and I was really strapped for cash, and I was desperate. I was desperate. Yeah, just desperate to make money and desperate to pay the bills. In hindsight, it just all feels so silly because I saw someone on socials who posted about how they were making so much money with Bitcoin, and I was desperate. So I was like, okay, I'll try it. Sidebar, believe what you want to believe about Bitcoin. It's neither here nor there. I think there are some responsible people doing it, but I also think that it is a collection of people who are more fiscally minded than empathetically minded. In theory, it makes sense. But so I was desperate for cash. Saw this person on, like a friend on social media who was talking about how much money they made on Bitcoin. So I was like, okay, maybe this is my sign. Yeah, let's do it. So I reach out to them, and then they sort of scammed me, conned me good, ran me through. But my savings were wiped. And the whole time I was setting it up, I had a gut feeling that this was too good to be true, and it was weird, but I didn't listen to it, and so I paid for it. And I fully recognize that that is also a reason why I am suspicious to things that require buying in, because I have been scammed on the internet before. So, full bias. I do recognize that. Still valuable, because being scammed and being conned is embarrassing, and I felt like a fool for months afterwards. Even now, there are these like waves of kind of stuff. Like, I can't believe I was that dumb. But I don't judge myself for it anymore, because again, I was desperate. I was trying to make money in that situation, and then I paid for it because I was acting out of desperation. So, community is very easy to find, but there are a lot of con artists out there too. And so it can be easy to get conned too. Aside from these three things, really the most important one is trusting yourself. Trust yourself. Give yourself an opportunity. I'm going to talk to myself. The only way I can learn to trust myself is to put myself in situations where I am tasked with trusting myself. I have to trust myself. And so I learn how to do it. And that's what I think. And that's that. If you've been conned before, let me know in the comments below. If you've found community in unexpected places, in places that felt confusing at first, or your intuition was telling you otherwise, and you were proven wrong. Let me know in the comments below. I'm invested and interested in exceptions to this rule that I've put in my head. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe for all the goodies, and yeah, see you around.